All right, everybody, we've got our mini preview and season win total predictions here for the Minnesota Vikings. This is episode 20 as we comb through the entire NFL, getting toward the back third now. And over under here, 8.5, minus 142 to the over, plus 116 to the under. And we are going to go under that total, under 8.5 at plus 116. And let's jump on into it. Head coach Kevin McConnell, someone I think is clever, calls a good offense. Wes Phillips helps him out. He's the coordinator, though McConnell does a lot of the work. And a new defensive coordinator, Brian Flores, who's a very good defensive coordinator, though this might be the wrong defense with him to start with. But we'll get into that once we get into the defense. Let's start with the offense. We'll start at quarterback. Kirk Cousins is the quarterback, slightly above average quarterback, and that's it. He probably gets underrated just a little bit, but this is a good enough quarterback. Whether they move on for him next year or whatever remains to be seen, but he is an above average quarterback who misses some throws here and there, but does most of the good stuff well. As for the offensive line, the tackles are good. O'Neal was solid last year. Darisaw was really, really good, top tier, and he'll hope to continue to take steps as he solidifies that tackle spot. Interior line was a problem, and all three of those guys come back and will be starting the new year, which is also a problem. Run blocking was okay, but pass blocking in general was really, really bad from that group. And if you're getting interior line pressure on a quarterback that doesn't maneuver that well with his legs, it creates a load of problems for the offense. So they're going to need to get better pass blocking quickly. Running back room is Madison and some guys. That's pretty much it. Madison's done well coming in for Dalvin Cook, and he'll hope, to have a bell cow type year. We'll see how that works, but if he gets hurt, there's nobody here, and that could be a huge issue, but we'll see. But he's a good enough running back as it is, so not too bad, I suppose. Wide receiver room gets a bit of an upgrade. Jordan Addison comes in to go alongside JJ and Osborne. Not too bad there. Can't get worse. That's three good players if he just kind of melts in quickly. Justin Jefferson's obviously top 1-2 wide receiver in the league. Osborne is solid as well on the outside. So this is a good scheme as well for three really good receivers. Cephas, Rager, kind of the backups. They're okay. Rager, his career has been funny, but there were specific times last year where he was causing interceptions on his own. So hopefully he takes it a little bit more seriously and gets better. But, the backups are okay. Front line is good. They'll hope to stay healthy. Tight end room, good. Hawkinson's just a really good tight end. Simple as that. Top end. Josh Oliver is getting decent amount of money. He had a bit of a breakout. So if he stays on that path, this is a good tight end room. Two good tight ends and one elite one. So the offense is not too bad. Defense, this is where things get a little out of hand. Defensive line, Danielle Hunter stays. He needed to stay and have a really good year for this defensive line to have a good year. Davenport comes in on the other side to replace Zadarius Smith. Not a massive downgrade, but a downgrade nonetheless. Phillips is really good in the middle. Tonga was solid. And then, you miss out. Dean Lowry comes in, is another good option. Dalvin Tomlinson misses out as he's moved on. So it's not ideal. You lose two really good players and bring in two solid players, but it's a large downgrade on a defense that really wasn't that great to begin with. So could be very problematic. Linebacker room is okay, I suppose. Kendricks leaves. It's been a while. He's been there a long time, but he's gone. Hicks is solid in run defense, not so great in pass coverage. And then you got two other guys probably, messing around for that last spot. Asamoah, small sample size that looks good, but you dig into it and realize he had a really good game against the Giants and then kind of somewhere else. Or the other couple of games he played, Reader's a vet and he's okay. So we'll see who slots in next to Hicks, but the pass coverage has to get better really. And then secondary is problematic. Pat Pete's gone. Chandon Sullivan's gone. Duke Shelley's gone. Pat Pete and Shelley both had good years last year. Sullivan's okay. And this is a new system, and you're going to have new corners that have not too far away from being drafted, who are going to have to come in and be on islands as if Flores continues to blitz like you expect him to. So it's going to be problematic. Byron Murphy comes in. He's okay. Booth and Evans are probably the other two corners. They weren't good last year in their time. And you're going to ask all of them, as I said, to play on islands. And last year they gave up a ton of completions, bad completion percentage all over the place. So it's going to be potentially problematic if the corners don't take huge steps. Harrison Smith and Bynum are okay. Not too bad of a safety group. Lewis Seen's back this year. He'll hope to jump into the NFL. This will be his first, almost his first year. Last year he got hurt really, really early before the season started and missed the whole year. So it's kind of his rookie season. So even if the safeties are bad and he comes in, it's a learning curve. So potentially problematic defense. The defensive line got worse, if not by a ton, but it did get worse. Linebacker room is okay, and secondary is just not very good at corner on a team that's going to have a lot of corners, man covering on zero blitzes. So it's going to be tough for the defense to outdo what it did last year, but also the floor is really, really low too. So it's problematic on this defense. As for the schedule, let's jump into it. Tampa Bay at home, at Philly, Chargers, at Carolina to start. Tampa Bay is winnable. Carolina's winnable. Then you go to Philly. That's probably a loss. Chargers at home, who can really get at this secondary. They have a lot of good players and an offensive line that's probably good enough to deal with it, at least. So potentially problematic there. Then you play the Chiefs. A similar situation. At Chicago, home to San Francisco, at Green Bay, at Atlanta. It does not get any easier there. 3 road games in 4, and then your home game is the 49ers, who should be rolling by then, you would think. 2 away games in division, and then at Atlanta, who a lot of people expect to be better. New Orleans, at Denver, Chicago before the bye. Just, couple winnable games there. You have to go to Denver, which has a really good defense if they can cover you up. Are you going to stop them enough times? Not sure. Then at Las Vegas, at Cincinnati out of the bye, Detroit, Green Bay, at Detroit. Detroit can definitely get at this secondary. Proved it last year. Green Bay division, and then at Las Vegas is winnable, and then at Cincinnati, another team with really good weapons. So it's a worry. It's a worry. That's why we're going under 8.5 at +116 here for the Minnesota Vikings. Just a lot of holes, a lot of problems. The offense is really good, but, having problems on the interior O-line across the way it can lose you games if your defense is not covering anybody and you need to continue to score points. So under 8.5 at +116. And tomorrow we'll have a new team.